Talk like you're going to talk. Talk like you're talking about the greatest film you ever done talking about.
Do not lead the witness. It's fine?
I mean, it's going to have to do.
Okay.
It'll done have to do.
This'll
done have to do for now.
Oh, man.
Hello.
Welcome to the Low Ceiling.
I'm John.
And I'm Pri.
Really?
And today...
Is that what you're going with today?
I go with the I'm John, but you know what?
Yeah, you do that and it's real funny.
This is about to be...
Comedy.
Oh, God.
Comedy gold.
Gold. Shit. That's the best of it.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
Man, I was put through the turmoil of having to watch.
To what are you referring?
To watch American Pie 1 in order to watch American Pie 2.
The film that we're doing today, which is American Pie 2.
Yes.
We're not doing American Pie 1.
No.
But I told you to watch American Pie 1. And I watched them both twice.
Yeah. Oh, God. So four times you've consumed the Pie-verse.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to American Pie 2. Yo, he didn't fuck a pie this time.
No, there's nary a pie to be seen except in the very first scene of this film.
This is quite possibly the whitest movie I've ever seen.
Definitely.
It's not just white, it's white.
It's very white.
Like Jennifer Coolidge is the only black guy in this film. Just radiating.
Jennifer Coolidge is the blackest. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing but panache.
Yeah.
And only comes up for a moment, but is it worth waiting that moment to see Jennifer Coolidge?
Okay, so Jennifer Coolidge, who recently one of the biggest stars on earth.
My gosh.
For her performance in The White Lotus.
Yeah.
I'm not going to... I shouldn't spoil The White Lotus for people, but like obviously everyone knows she's in it. She won an Emmy, at least one.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it crazy that Jennifer Coolidge built her career on the foundations of two cameo appearances in raunchy teen sex comedies?
Yeah.
I will say though, obviously J. Cools, she was big in Christopher Guest's filmography.
Yeah.
She was in there, but like for our generation, millennials, if that's what you want to call us.
Gross.
We know her as Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom.
And then she was in White Lotus.
Yeah.
That's basically it. There's a 24-year gap there where you're just like,
what is she
doing?
And my God, what a comeback.
And you know what's wilder? You know what's even wilder? There's two women in these films like that. Because Natasha Lyonne, she pops off in these movies, disappears for years, comes back and makes Russian Dolls, and everyone's like, isn't she a genius? It's like, I don't know, she hasn't been seen for 20 years.
Well, she did Orange is the New Black, so she's been in there quite prominently.
So she hasn't been seen for 20 years.
Okay.
Also, I do know, I'm being flippant, but I do know that Natasha Lyonne suffered from some substance abuse problems
I didn't know that.
In the interceding years. So I know that. That's what I've heard.
Well, then good taking a break from
Hollywood. she comes back and Russian Doll is a big thing. A show I've never seen but I've heard is very good. But
it's quite good. I've seen it.
But it's weird that there's two women like that who then pop off in these prestigious miniseries that I don't know.
You know who didn't pop off at all? Well, I think you know.
Most of the cast?
Well, as soon as all the pies ended, just all of Hollywood was like, okay, we're moving on to a different white guy, TM. And just Jason Biggs was 12 feet in the Hollywood grave, never to be seen again.
And you know what's kind of sad about that? I actually think Jason Biggs is quite good in these.
I am so upset that as an adult, I find him attractive. I'm annoyed that I'm like,
he's such a darling.
Is this a cutie?
Such a little darling. You know who did?
Upset.
You know, if you were today, if you could go back in time and you could draft all of the people who are going to have big careers off of this movie, you would not pick Allison Hannigan.
No, dude.
And yet she becomes like, she just goes into How I Met Your Mother and is incredible.
Is the one and only Lily.
And she's fantastic in How I Met Your Mother.
Allison Hannigan in this movie and in the previous American Pie, just sounding like a fucking proto Borat, dude. I just could not.
Yeah.
What is going on?
But you would pick Jason Biggs, right? He is quite good, and then he shows up. I know you haven't seen it, but like he shows up in a couple guest spots in The Good Wife, and you're just like, fucking, he's so good.
What's he doing? Like I told you, Jason Biggs could have been Ted Mosby in How I Met Your Mother.
We talked about this, but the American Pie, just the vibe and the humor, it feels like a How I Met Your Mother prequel.
Yeah.
Like it's so, and his performance is like, it's almost like fucking Josh Radnor was like steps away from getting that role, and then Jason Biggs swooped in and got it. And then Josh Radnor ruined Jason Biggs' career by becoming a bigger star.
Damn it, he market corrected him.
We've
much
solved
later.
it, everybody. Podcast is done.
Yo, I feel a little bad that I had to watch these movies alone by myself in order to prepare for this prestigious pod. To say in other words, I wish I had watched it with a gang of pals. Just so, shocker, surprise audience, I'm not a big boob comedy fan, but this would have been one to enjoy with peers rather than alone and be like, ugh, I am 33.
The thing is, though, that every time I see bare breasts on film, I burst out laughing. You know that. Yeah. When we watched Crash together, it was just a laugh a minute. Yeah. But so you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah.
Have you said it?
I will continue to say it, that this fella, J.B. Rogers, who directed this movie,
did not direct American Pie 1.
Did not direct Pie 1,
Paul
but Pie
Weitz,
2, I think Pie 2 came out just like a month before 9/11.
Oh, yeah, in our series of films that may or may not have been affected by 9/11.
I'm telling you, the last gasp of a completely different time in America, and you get American Pie 2. But it's not any better or any improvement or any different than American Pie 1. If anything, it's kind of a wah, wah.
You're wrong. So
you think this is better than the first?
I have something to say about that. Okay,
go on.
Here, I just want to say a couple things. So far on this pod, the low ceiling canon, if you will. Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
We've done.
Yeah.
American Pie 2.
Yeah.
9/11 happens.
Yeah.
And then we get From Hell the day before 9/11. We talked about the day before 9/11. Behind Enemy Lines. What other 2001 film have we? I think that's it so far, but we've done quite a few.
Yeah.
We don't have to look it up now, but we're big in we're right in the slot there.
We're big in the American ethos. Yeah.
My thing about this movie, so directed by J.B. Rogers.
J.B. Rogers.
The first one's directed by Paul Weitz. His brother Chris Weitz goes on to produce and direct in Twilight, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And many other things. Both movies are written by the same guy, though. Adam Hers, I believe his name is, which is great. Do you know how American Pie came to be?
No.
The script was submitted to producers under the title. I have it written down here. I have it written down where I knew this already, but I was reminded of it through a Atlantic article named "Was American Pie More Influential Than Titanic?"
Stop it.
Yep, big deal. The script was submitted under the title "Untitled Teenage Sex Comedy that can be made for under $10 million that most readers will probably hate, but I think you will like."
Legitimately?
For real, yes.
Like that was the huge article title for the...
That was the spec script was submitted under this name.
Come on, man.
And it got read, and then it got made for $11 million. And it made $150 million at the box office. Yeah.
Well, yeah. God damn it. Okay.
But it was a big hit. American Pie 1 was a big hit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I was going to get at. American Pie 2 is a better movie. I say that again. American Pie 2 is better.
Yes.
Do you agree or do you not agree?
It's the bar is below the floor, so of course it's better.
Not true. They're good.
Oh my God. Yo, okay. I am not white. Neither.
Hold on. What?
Hold on. Wait a minute. But also, I am not, like, I didn't watch it as a small person. When I was younger, I never saw it. No, but
that's because you were always 6 feet tall.
Yeah. I came out of the womb.
Dunking.
So I don't have I feel bad. I don't have the nostalgia that like a lot of prepubescent children,
yeah,
as you once were last week, enjoyed it.
Yeah, people might not know this. I just turned 18.
Yeah.
No, I saw both the original American Pies when I was like too young, and I think that's the experience of a lot of people who were born
perfect
with me. What was I saying? Like who were born around the same time we were.
Yeah.
Was like we saw them like too young, and I know that. So American Pie 1 is like a big deal for people who are like in high school, right? But for me, I was 9 when that came out. I probably didn't see it till I was 10 or 11, just when American Pie 2 was about to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were like too young to see it, but it still leaves like a lasting legacy because it's like the first bare tits making you laugh that you see on screen.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which that's what it should be, and it always has been kind of seen as this just a teen movie.
It's a raunchy teen sex comedy.
It just embraces the shitty dick tits ass joke period again.
Yeah, and I was actually I wrote down that I kind of, when we rewatched Waiting, the worst movie we've done.
Yeah.
I kind of thought Waiting would be like this, but American Pie they are nicer films.
American Pie is better than Waiting, hands down.
By a wide margin.
Right,
but
for
also
sure.
American Pie cares about the characters that are in it. And you actually like, they might not be always morally correct.
Yeah.
But like as Roger Ebert in his review of American Pie 1 said, raunchy is okay, cruel is not. And that's kind of it. I think that obviously there's some not aged well parts about filming a lady on the internet against her consent and things like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, the characters like get their comeuppance for doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like it all works out. Even Stifler, when he's being a jerk, he still ends up drinking cum. You know, and getting pissed on.
I mean, you know, I think the only positive takeaway is that Stifler is bisexual as hell. So good for him.
How is he bisexual as hell?
Well, he was ready to, quote unquote, take one for the team when...
Do you think him and Finch have like a latent homosexual love?
I just think he was
happening?
like, just to see lesbians kiss, he was like, if they want me to touch a man, I will do it.
Yeah.
So he... You know, is he a woke king this whole time?
Has Stifler been a woke king the whole time?
Yeah.
Good question. Good. I think that will engender lots of discussion on the blogosphere, but the answer is no.
I straight up, man, I do not give a fuck about any of these kids.
You don't?
I just couldn't like find myself being like, yeah. Every time Mina Sawari's character's on screen, I'm like, I hope she dies. I hope this bitch dies.
I like Mina Suvari a lot.
I know.
This movie, like, I feel a lot of nostalgia for American Pie 2 specifically as compared to 1.
Yeah.
I think because, like, American Pie 1 I like American Pie 1, but American Pie 2, I do genuinely think is a better and more thoughtful film. Yeah. And I think it's like, so one comment, I saw someone on Reddit comment about one thing that is cool about American Pie that had not really been done before was that it really shows how weirdly insecure boys are about sex in high school.
Agreed. Yeah.
And that doesn't really stop once you go to college. And the whole journey that they go on where they're in college, but then they realize they're just kind of the same, which I think everyone goes through. And I think that this movie does like a really good job of unpacking all of that with each like character.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's nice. And I feel a lot of nostalgia, not to mention the soundtrack to American Pie 2 fucks hard. Really, really hard. And if everyone hasn't listened to Everywhere by Michelle Branch recently, throw it on, because that song fucking rules.
I wish we were doing American Pie 1, although that movie got all the highest ratings, so I would have introduced myself. Not really.
It's actually turned into more of like a classic than it was at the time. At the time, it was like kind of like divisively received.
Really?
You know? Yeah. It's just become like a 90s classic, a late 90s classic. Especially if you think that just the year before Something About Mary came out.
Yeah,
and then American Pie. It's like it was like this rebirth of like raunchy comedies that I think continued into the early 2000s. But something like Waiting is a good example.
Yeah.
But also like Old School and like a lot of those the Todd Phillips stuff. And then we were talking about how Superbad is probably
modern day.
the modern day update.
Totally.
Well, we say modern day. It's 13 years old.
Shit,
Superbad.
Really?
But Superbad is the updated version of American Pie. Yeah. And then I don't know what the updated version from Superbad is.
Booksmart?
Yeah, I think that. So that I saw that mentioned. Booksmart or like Easy A maybe
Easy
kind
A,
of continues it on.
Yeah.
But I think Booksmart is certainly an updated version of Superbad.
Yeah.
And I do think Superbad is like an updated vibe of American Pie, but it's it is like a lot less like sex focused, I think.
It's more like interpersonal relationships of teenagers and
here's a question though. So Roger Ebert kind of decries a little bit in his review, even though he kind of liked this movie.
Yeah,
he was American Pie 1 I'm talking about, and 2 he actually gave them both 3 stars. But like he kind of talks about how like movies have gotten raunchier.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've gotten less raunchy since
course.
then. I think they peaked in the early 2000s, and then everyone got kind of tired of it.
Oh yeah.
And like, cause like I was thinking. It's so funny. So I see this comment bandied about the web a lot by people who are just like, oh, I hate like sex scenes in movies. And I'm like, well, that's weird because I don't really see a lot in film and television these days. Not compared to like from like 2000 to 2010.
Even in American Pie, what sex scene do we ever get to see?
But sex is the point, right?
Yeah,
so
but there's never
sense.
Like a graphic display of it.
No,
ever.
But I see people talk about, it's like they act like there's tons of sex thrown into films these days. And I'm like, there's not really though. Like if you look at like early Game of Thrones or like The Sopranos.
Oh yeah, dude.
Or like even thinking back to like Basic Instinct, stuff that's like titillating, right? That's meant to be edgy in that regard.
Yeah.
I find these days it's like there's not a lot of that.
No,
at all.
Not in cinema.
Unless it's and even still, I think one of the things I think that criticism is annoying is because it's like, well, sometimes sex is part of the story. And you have to have it in there, or else they wouldn't do it. Like they don't do it just to be like, hey, here's a thing. But like some people act like it's like, oh, we could just skip this. And it's like, no, I think they wouldn't put it in unless it was important,
Yeah, like Crash, where you just got to take the panties off
the
a car
90s, though.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I just think because we don't expect it to be as like shocking because we've matured over time that even if we do see sex and things like Game of Thrones, after a while, you're like, oh, another penis.
But in
like
Game
it's
of Thrones,
not even shocking after a while.
In Game of Thrones, it is kind of meant to like be edgy, though. Like there are scenes where you're just like, they're doing this to like push the boundary of what
100%.
They can show on television. And as Game of Thrones went on, there was a lot less of it. It was like in the first couple of seasons, it was lots of sex and nudity and
oh my god,
sex and violence mixed together. And then as it went on, they stopped having a lot of that. And I think a lot of modern TV and movies doesn't really have a lot. I can't think, especially a lot of prestige directors these days. I can't think of one who is like classically known for filming sex scenes, Even Fincher in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, it's like, well, that's part of the story, but everything else he's ever done doesn't really have a lot of that.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think only HBO gets to get away with it because they're home boobs office.
But but like what HBO show are we talking about today that is like raunchy with sex, Winning Time? Like, I don't know.
Lives of College Girls?
Yeah, but there's not tons of sex in that.
Not even in Sex and the City,
and
is there?
Sex Lives of College Girls also doesn't have nudity, I don't think.
No.
Right?
No, you're right. You're right.
Even though it is an HBO show.
Huh, stuff is tame.
What else you got up on this? Come on.
I have to give a shout out to Bandcamp Man Shorts.
Yeah.
That should come back.
Do you have a question? You have a question for me though about who the most underrated performance is. Weren't you going to ask me that?
You know what? I was just, as soon as I stopped talking about shorts, I was going to be like, speaking of shorts, who is short loved?
The most underrated performer in this film is that redheaded band camp counselor.
Oh my God. Petey.
He's like, I'm pissed off. You can tell by the tone of my voice that I'm pissed off. It's my favorite line. It's so fucking funny. It's the best. I love him.
He's there for 3.5 seconds and he steals the show.
He steals it. Yeah.
Is he also the guy who plays the trumpet later? the Trumpist.
No, that's the other guy.
That's the other guy.
That guy's a that guy. I've seen him in other stuff.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's like shown up in other shows that I've seen. But this redheaded fellow I've never seen before in my life.
And he stole your heart.
Oh my God, did he steal my heart? God, it's amazing.
Let's talk about the lads. There's 4 of them, hey? So there's Jim, Jason Biggs' character.
I rate them from 1 to 10 now. Go.
Okay, Jim, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Relatable, lovable, what a goof. Okay, good. Oz, weird. Why is he hanging out with these dorks? He is an Adonis type character. Yeah. He's like the who's the Jesus among actors? The Japanese Keanu. Thank you. He's like the
Japanese.
Sorry, isn't he half Asian? No.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway,
well,
sorry.
No, Jesus was also Japanese. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bethlehem /
That's enough.
Okay. So Oz kind of is all right. Kind of boring, adult for me. It doesn't do much for
Chris Klein. I can't let you slander Chris Klein.
All right.
He's a beautiful man. He's a perfectly serviceable actor, and I don't know why he didn't have a bigger career.
All missed. Okay. And then the third, Stifler, because there's at least some...
he becomes part of the gang in this
film. He becomes
film.
part of the gang, but in a way that he's insufferable, but you're just like, you can't take your eyes off of him. You just want to punch him, but also you kind of want to keep watching.
And this is the thing. The biggest mistake that they made with American Wedding was making Stifler the main character. So you don't want to do that. You've never seen American Wedding?
Oh, God, no, man. I have self-respect.
It's not good. It's not good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Oh, also, Oz isn't in American Wedding. So that's one of the reasons it sucks. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Why would they take the lads out?
Yeah, why bother? Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
No. And then, okay, so and then number 4 is, the guy who's obsessed with Stifler's mom.
Finch,
the baby face. What a weirdo.
Eddie K. Thomas.
Yeah.
Really good actor.
Good job. Never seen him in anything.
Should have had a bigger career. I think he.
Yeah.
Besides Jason Biggs, I actually think he's the best in both movies.
Do you think Michael Cera just came in and was like, "I'm everything now"?
No, Finch was like. No, I thought he was like. I think he's actually a very unique kind of guy, and I wish he could have done more. Also, if you see a picture of him, like a recent picture of him, he looks the fucking same.
Come on,
this is a beautiful nerdy dude,
little baby face.
But you're forgetting one.
And the least likable piece of shit cock muffin is Kevin.
Why don't you like Kevin?
I hated him. He's so arrogant, and like.
Yes.
You know, I see myself being like a 10, 11-year-old girl and be like, oh my God, Kevin, such a cutie.
He's insecure.
So cute.
Yeah.
He's just a soft boy. Yo, fuck that kid.
Yeah.
You're telling me he made Tara Reid feel ugly? Fuck out of here, bro. With your little face. Even though objectively he's the most attractive of the lot.
He's the most conventionally attractive, I think. But maybe besides Oz, yeah.
Yo, none of them are cute. They look, dress, act terrible. They're like sloths.
You got to go look up the guy who plays Kevin. I'm sorry, I forget his name, but on Wikipedia, his picture on Wikipedia, he looks so cute. He looks adorable. He's got like a beard and like longer hair, and he just looks like he's like, I took my American Pie money and now I surf all day.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, fucking get it, Kevin. Because to be perfectly honest, I like Kevin, but he's not giving a great performance in this film. Man. Yeah.
He's also forgettable. When he's not on screen, I'm just like not thinking about him.
It's so funny because he's weirdly in both movies, he's a very core part of the emotional drive of the story. Because his brother played by
I don't know. Oh shit.
Casey Affleck.
Oh my god.
Is the one who is who is like his spirit guide to how to relate to late high school and then early college life. And then Kevin is the one who in this movie is like, this is what we should do. We should go to the lake and we should do this. We should do what my brother did. Kevin really is like the emotional driver of these two films. Whereas like Jim is like the protagonist.
Yeah.
But Kevin, he's actually like, his story forms a lot of the emotional relationship in it. It's really interesting because in American Pie 1 and American Pie 2, Kevin is the one who kind of creates the situation which is like the lowest point for the gang. And then they have to come around with Kevin to,
help him, like boost him up too and be like, hey man, one day you'll get it
Kevin,
right.
mad respect.
Ugh.
Don't take priest shit.
Oh, fuck. Mad. I don't know about mad respect.
Hardcore respect. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Go on.
Those are all the things that I feel about this, and so far it's all been just they're so young and fucking gross.
What?
I wish I didn't ever see it. I'm too old now.
You really just straight up don't like these movies.
I hate them.
Oh.
I hate American Pie.
Bro.
Yo, I feel like even if I was a kid, I would have a greater appreciation for it if I had seen it then. But what a shocking turn if I had watched it now at my old ass age and been like, yeah, I love the franchise, bro.
That would be weird, yeah.
That'd be so strange.
A strange turn of events if you were like, oh my god, this is
relatable.
I'm gonna get all the direct to DVD ones as well. Like, yeah.
So I am so late to the scene, and so therefore an unfair
I think
judgment of this
yeah,
film.
like we watched them when we were younger, and like I watched them first when I was younger with like friends, and we would yeah.
I wish I had that.
Yeah.
Friends, I mean.
This is why you can't relate to this film at all. Yeah.
Because it's like a group of 4. What's that like? All my friends are Carrie and Samantha and Miranda.
Oh, gross.
Ugh. Yeah, bro. Fucking.
All right, let's talk about the plot.
Let's talk one more word. Nadia.
Oh, yeah. Shannon Elizabeth.
What? Oh, my God.
An offensive Slovakian or something.
Oh, out here just doing charity work. Falling in love with Jim.
Can I? Yeah. And
come on.
The Shermanator.
And Shermanator.
Can I be admit something?
Yeah.
I had no idea that Shannon Elizabeth was like a model who was not some like Slovakian chick.
Oh, but like
when I was a kid, yeah.
Oh,
like,
right,
I didn't
right,
know
right,
who that was. Like I was too young to really understand who that was. Of course. Yeah.
I remember first seeing Shannon Elizabeth in, was it Scream or one of the?
Is she the one who gets stabbed in the breast and gets the silicone ripped out of her?
Yes. Yeah. And just being like, that girl's hot as fuck.
Just saying that joke makes me oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scream.
Mm-hmm.
Not Scream, Scary Movie.
Scary Movie, thank you.
Scream.
Scary Movie.
Yeah. The one where
they
stab the dick through the guy's head. That movie. I mean, come on.
Yeah, what's not to love? What's up?
Honestly, I tried to watch Scary Movie like a couple years ago, like rewatch it, and I was like, this is a tough watch. Even worse than Waiting, I thought, actually.
To me, that's all the pies. Because I'm like, in this one, there's not even a pie he fucks. So I'm like, what am I doing? Watching a lack of pies. But there's glue. The glue is the pie in this one.
Yeah, true. There's glue. That's a great... So my feeling about this movie is that, in my opinion, one of the reasons I still like it and still enjoy watching it, which I'm not saying like I'm a bastion of taste for that vibe, but like in broad strokes, the movie is not funny. Like the big set pieces are not very funny in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The gags, the touching the ass, the blah blah, the gluing himself to himself.
Okay.
But all of that, like the big marquee set pieces of this film, I just do not think are very funny. But there are little things in between that I do still find funny.
Yeah.
Like some of the performances and some of the like. So okay, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
when they have the lesbians doing their thing over the CB radio.
Yeah.
And the kid hears it on his CB, the little child hears it.
Yeah.
And then the dad gets a hold of it. And then later you see him and he's just like, his eyes glaze over, fantasizing. But the way that guy delivers, where he's like, I'm not hungry. Is so funny.
Don't disturb me. I have everything I need. Oh, perfect.
Like that stuff I do really find funny.
Every time someone says something angrily out loud and frazzled way, I think that is your jam.
It's these little and the guy, the most underrated performance, that
Camp
stuff
guy.
is like it is good. Like, but yes, overall the movie, these in broad strokes, is not very funny. Yeah. Let's get into the plot. Let's talk about how unfunny it is.
Yeah.
Jim is at college at the end of his first year. He's trying to get on with his lady that he's never had sex with.
Yep.
And obviously, then Eugene Levy. Yeah. Eugene Levy, his father, walks in on him trying to have sex with this lady, and then her parents walk in on them.
Yep.
And it's a classic jape, classic Jim jape.
Inevitably, Eugene Levy is there whenever Jim has his dick out.
Here's another thing. Eugene Levy does have really funny moments in, like, Eugene Levy is so fully committed to this role that it works perfectly for what he does.
Yeah.
And later, speaking of the gluing myself to myself part, where he's like, don't forget your penis cream.
Just Eugene Levy looks so much like most Indian uncles to me that I have like PTSD from his face. Mm-hmm. Every time he's on screen, I try not to look at his face.
Interesting, because
like
he's a Jewish Canadian.
Yeah, it's the eyebrows, man. He's just blessed with a face full of hair. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But even when I would see him in movies when I was a kid, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
So it was odd for him to walk into the room with his son having sex and be like, "Oh, hey, Jim."
Yeah, he's got quite a face. As I told you, it's something that I fucking love from American Pie 1 is when he's just around the house, and then Jim will walk out of his room and you're like, oh, hello, I didn't see you there.
Oh, Jim.
Like, that stuff is fucking hilarious. And Eugene Levy went on to be in every one of these films.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Even the direct-to-DVD ones. He's been in 9 American Pie films. This is fucking cashing that check.
And then the modern-day American Pie, Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Knocking it out of the park.
So the gang gets back together after college. Chris and Mina Suvari are together, but Mina Suvari is like, oh, I'm going to Spain to do this fucking summer abroad. It's like, dude, why?
Yeah.
And then Kevin and Vicky have broken up since the last year. Well, I think they broke up at the end of the last movie, whatever. And Finch comes back from New York all cultured and stuff, and he's still obsessed with Stifler's mom.
Yeah.
They have a party at Stifler's house, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of set up the why does it feel so different to be back from college stakes of the whole thing? Why is everything so fucking weird? Stifler gets peed on. Big plot point. Peed on by a future star from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh my God, Harold himself.
John Cho, yeah. And so basically, Kevin is like, why is everything so weird? He asks Casey Affleck. He's like, what's going on? And Casey Affleck in just 2 incredible cameos in these movies for the weirdest.
Casey Affleck for all of 3 seconds, and still, my God.
But how?
Yeah.
So did they?
This got him.
It's such but at that time, Casey Affleck's not that famous. But it's such a cameo role that it's did they just call everyone from Good Will Hunting? And they were like, Matt Damon said no, Ben Affleck said no. But Casey Affleck's who? Casey who? It's well, he's Ben Affleck's brother. It's fuck it, whatever. Whatever. Yeah. That's probably where instead of making it for $10 million, the $1 million extra came from was to pay Casey Affleck.
Because they had to pay him for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Casey Affleck's you should do this thing that we did. We went to Lake Michigan. We rented this house. It was the most legendary summer. It's all the fucking MTV bullshit. And so they go and they rent this lake house. It's all of them, including Stifler. They had to invite Stifler to help pay for all this stuff. They become house painters, which is a very college thing to do.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, cool.
To be perfectly frank, one thing I like about this movie is I admire that tenacity to do that for a summer and just be I am getting the fuck out of my hometown and going away to, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you can relate because you've done cool odd jobs and
I was a window cleaner.
All right. What's up?
On a residential window cleaner. So I was very similar. That was fun. I met tons of lesbians. No, I'm just kidding. But I was I didn't go home for one summer in university, and I was a window cleaner. That was actually very fun because I didn't have to go to class, and I was in the city. I went to university, and then just getting sunstroke.
Would you say that you were now that I've seen American Pie, a career trajectory?
I was I'm kind of doing it.
10 years later,
I'm doing it. Yeah. I did compulsive things. I went to this music festival because a friend called me on a Wednesday and was I don't have anyone to go to the music festival for. Do you have this much money? I was like, yeah. And they're like, all right, come with me. I was like, okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was really dumb. Yeah. Yeah. But the music festival was amazing. Anyway, so college shit.
Yeah.
This was my college experience. That was my American Pie too. And so then Nadia surprises Jim and she's like, I'm gonna be here at the end of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. for some reason I want to do charity work and sleep with you.
Yeah. As part of my culture.
It's part of
we
my
do give back.
experiencing American culture.
Rough, man. Rough.
So Jim is like, oh, God, he didn't have sex with anyone over college, so he's had no experience since he had sex with Michelle at prom.
Yeah.
When he was used by the band geek. So he goes to find Michelle at band camp.
Yeah.
To get pointers on,
how good was the sex?
What did I do well? What could I improve on?
Yeah.
The normal corporate kind of performance review.
Yeah.
And she said, you were terrible on everything. And then, he plays a trombone in front of a bunch of people. People all think that he has Down syndrome. It's normal 90s, early 2000s comedy shit.
Every time she was on screen, I was like, all right, I want to pay more attention now.
Oh, she's funny.
I love their, chemistry, whatever, tutor-student relationship they had going on.
She also managed to maintain the shtick, which you could easily see becoming kind of obnoxious, but she managed to keep it to a normal level that you're like, oh, I can handle hearing this lady talk a bunch.
Yes.
And what is that part where she's like, where she first meets him at the band camp, and she's like, yeah, because this one time here, it's like a funny delivery because
holy potatoes.
Yeah,
bro, stop it.
Fucking rules.
You're already you got red hair and white skin. You don't got to do none of this.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And then we have the scene with redheaded Ben Shapiro. I can understand by the tone of my voice that I'm angry. Yeah. My favorite person in the world. They have a party that's like a big sausage fest, the Shermanator says.
Oh,
it's so funny because they have these parties, and yet everyone from their hometown just still manages to make it there.
How the hell?
And it's fantastic.
But it's also very 90s or early 2000s where everyone's just like, yeah, I'm available.
It's very
it's a drop of a hat.
A sitcom film.
Yeah.
So another very important thing happens at this party with the Shermanator is that Natasha Lyonne is like, get your fucking act together.
Reality
man.
check,
It's so
dog.
stupid. Yeah. And then he's all bummed out, and she calls him a freak, which is fair. Kevin and Vicky reconcile at this party a little bit, and they talk about who they slept with at college, blah, blah, blah. That we bring up the rule of 3, which is Kevin was like, oh, I slept with 3 girls. And then Natasha Lyonne later says, he probably slept with 1 or none. And Vicky said there was one guy probably slept with 3. So very important pop
the rule
culture.
of 3s is also really wrong math. I know this because I went to math. The whole time they're like, whatever number they say, divide it by 3. It should still be 1.
Natasha Lyonne is like, whatever they say, you divide it by 3. So he could have slept with 1 or none. And then she's like, it's an exact science. I'm like, well, if there's the difference between 0 and 1, then it's not 100%. That exact a science. It's kind of like a vague science.
Yeah.
And then Oz is trying to have long distance sex with Mina Suvari while she's in Spain.
Oh my God! Forward. All that shit was so boring to me.
Can I posit what I think happened here in reality? American Pie 1 comes out in 1999. So does a little movie called American Beauty. Mina Suvari is in both.
Oh.
And then Mina Suvari probably becomes, because of American Beauty, becomes a much bigger star. Not that Mina Suvari was ever massive, but very good working actor. Yeah. She goes on to be in 6 Feet Under, I think I've said before, and she's fantastic. I really like her as an actress.
She's great.
When she's in these, she's young, she's just getting it together. But really, in American Beauty, she is excellent.
100%.
She is
no denying
so
it.
Perfect in that fucking movie.
For sure.
And what I think happened here was that she might have been working on other things and they couldn't get her to film at the same time. I think there was a scheduling conflict and they had to write her being somewhere else.
Yeah. If she wasn't there at all, that'd be fine too.
No, it works out. The thing is that Oz actually doesn't really have a character arc in this movie at all, which is probably why he was written out of American Wedding. Yeah. Which is a shame because, as I've said, I actually like Chris Klein as an actor and I think he's doing well. I think he was doing well until they wrote him out of the film series. Yeah.
What are they going to do? Because the rest of the guys are just ground level worms, and then he's just the tallest worm with that top hat. Yeah. He's going to get picked up by a bird. So the bird is Suwari.
Did you take biology when you were younger?
I did mathology. And so when you divide it by 0, you get a worm. All right.
Okay.
I'm tired. I'm tired out here.
Tired of these movies.
Tired of these fucking jokes.
All right, and so then we have the big lesbian set piece, which is what it is. Like, I don't know. It's like kind of tries to replicate what happened in a way in American Pie 1, which American Pie 1 is like a very legendary set piece. The Shannon Elizabeth on the internet.
Oh yeah,
and then he accidentally broadcasts it to the whole town.
Yeah.
Blink-182 shows up. Like,
fucking
yeah.
What and the amount of screen time they get. Great. Just all of that quality.
But before you insult them, which I suspect
I never would.
Blink-182 was my favorite band growing up. So
I agree. Like the music is not all the bangers, right?
They also, you know what I love about their use of the fucking amazing band Blink-182 in these films?
Yeah.
They use 2 songs. And both of them are like not their popular songs. They use a amazing song called Mutt in American Pie 1. And then they use another song from their 3rd album or whatever. That's great. But it doesn't matter. Blink-182 is great. Also, very funny people. Seen them live. They're hilarious.
Yeah?
Yeah. Saw them live on their like first of 900 reunion tours. And
my God.
Yeah. Oh, millennial music scene. Take me home and shoot me. Fucking great. Yeah. Great band.
All the music in both the films I thought was great. Like,
yes,
it brings you right back. You're like, oh shit, because I find myself getting checked out when they're just chatting. Like, especially Mina Savari and Oz's character doing the phone back and forth. I'm like, yeah, and then a song piece will come on. A song piece, as they do.
A whole piece of a whole song.
A whole piece of a ting tong. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I'm back again.
Yeah,
it's a good choice.
The soundtrack in AP2 is better than the first one, and it has some like really real bangers. I already mentioned Everywhere by Michelle Branch. The Blink song is Blink. I call them Blink because it's just how I roll. Is Every Time I Look for You, which is a really good song, and then there's Hash Pipe by Weezer, and there's another really fucking incredible Offspring song called Want You Bad, which is fucking great.
Oh yeah.
And then more importantly, they play 2 Sum 41 songs to represent Canada appropriately.
Damn.
They play In Too Deep and Fat Lip, I think, which is like...
Oh my God, Fat Lip.
Man, I'm so hard confessing how terrible my taste in music was for so many years. But
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Give a fuck.
Whoever selected this list of bangers, David Lawrence. Music by David Lawrence.
The thing is that like, this, you know what has really changed about film? In the early 2000s and late 90s, it was so much more common to have a movie with a bunch of songs gathered, rather than like music supervisors were so much more common in that they would select these pieces, and like the way that they're actually dramatically shown on screen through montage and stuff, that doesn't really happen anymore.
Well, royalties and shit.
Yeah, they've become a lot more expensive. I know that, but it also like it's weird. Maybe someone has written about this or somewhere, or made like a YouTube video or something, but it's interesting to see how that actually changed the literal scenes we see on screen in films. Is like, because you could use these things, like in this movie there's like 4 or 5 montages using a song, and you just don't really see that very much anymore. Not that it doesn't exist, but you know it.
True. And it's like of its time, right? So in 90s and aughts it would be Blink-182, Fat Lip, da-da-da. And then now a show that comes to mind is, well, like we said, Sex Life with College Girls uses current songs to like filler. Issa Rae's Insecure does it
transitions out of the scenes, whereas in these movies it tells a part of the story, right? It shows a montage to skip forward in time.
True.
You know what's a good example? We just last night we hung out with a friend and we watched Call Me by Your Name for the first time.
Yeah.
And they use this one song twice in that movie, but it's used in the world of the song. It's called diegetic music, right? So the people on screen hear it and they're dancing to it, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's more common today. When you hear a pop song or something in a film, it's more common that it's actually part of the world.
Scene. Yeah.
Instead of being... Yeah, it's interesting. But I find... I don't know, maybe I'll become a YouTube star and talk about this, but whatever. Or someone take my idea. I don't give a shit.
But like I think it definitely is reduced because of monetary restraints.
Yeah, because like every time, or like the few times when you see like a movie with it must happen so rarely, but like if I ever see like hear or a movie or see a movie with like Taylor Swift or Beyonce, I'm just like, how much did that cost?
How much did that cost?
It must have just been insane.
Yeah, dude.
Even the Batman, and I have mixed feelings about it. Not the movie, I love the movie, but I have mixed feelings about the fact that they use a Nirvana song in it, because for the longest time Courtney Love was famously very protective of allowing Nirvana's music to be used for good reason. But the other thing, I was talking to someone about this after the Batman. I have lots of questions about that movie. For one, what happens to the cat at the end? But also I'm like, so does it mean that does Nirvana exist in the world of Batman then?
Or a version of it?
But like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, so are you saying that Nirvana is like, if Nirvana toured in the 90s, would they have gone to Gotham City?
100%.
I don't know. I just find that, anyway. But you don't see that very often.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's often like one song, because they can afford one song.
Also, it matches the grungy vibe.
That's the thing, is I don't really think it does. This is my diatribe about Batman. It does take me out. Of something like the Batman, yes, it takes me out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But unless it's like Beyonce's Crazy in Love in 50 Shades of Grey, you're pretty...
Is it in 50 Shades?
I don't think it's Crazy in Love, but it's one of the... Got me looking so crazy right now. That is the one.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what, though, too? 50 Shades of Grey famously has like a really good soundtrack. However, they also, like, it was probably cheaper for them to get Ellie Goulding to record that song, dude. Love Me Like You Do, which I remember it off the top of my head because it's an amazing song.
Hell yeah.
It was probably like cheaper to get her, like Tove Lo, to write it and Ellie Goulding to record it than it was to get the perfect song that might have cost millions of dollars. That's how weird
what a shame.
It's such a weird system.
I know.
But I understand that people are like, it's not weird. People just want to make a fuck ton of money.
Give them the money, because whatever 50 Shades of Grey would have made $50 million.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shit.
Anyway,
it's no American Pie.
The thing is, like, the soundtrack in both these movies is amazing, and it's like it can be so full of stuff. Yeah. That's what's so cool about it. Oh, they also have American Hi-Fi's Flavor of the Week in this movie, which is a fucking amazing one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we have that lesbian set piece. Getting back to that, that's over. Jim practices more with like Michelle, and they kind of start like following for each other, like practices with the. And now there's a moment in this scene too, which is one of those small, funny moments where Jim is like touching her breasts, and she's just like she's just like rolling her eyes. Yeah. And then when Jim is like, "Does it matter clockwise, counterclockwise?"
Babe, those were the exact words on our third date. So, am I learning now?
But also, this is why Jason Biggs is so good. Like the way he's just like he's like
grubby little hands.
His like fingers are just like so weirdly caressing her tits.
No.
Yeah.
The discomfort. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and then Michelle puts a trumpet up his ass, which is as you do when you're teaching someone how to love.
Yeah.
And then a montage separates this a little bit, and then Stifler is like, I got everyone porn and lube.
Oh, good.
Here you go.
Yeah.
So, which is
what a guy.
Fun to go to a lake house with a bunch of dudes and be like, everyone jack off.
Which like led me to believe that there is a time when in college world America that guys would get together and watch porn together.
I think
so. Or independently staying in a lake house, like you said, and be like, let us partake in sensual experiences.
I think what's more normal is that you all watch it separately and take notes, and then you get together at like, it's kind of like a book club, but for porn. Oh, the good old days.
Oh my God.
Then Jim mistakes the lube for the glue, and he glues himself to himself.
Yeah.
And he puts his...
Can I just say, he gets way too many strokes in with the super glue.
Yeah, because I think that every time that scene comes on.
Why?
Because super glue, it's immediate.
Instantaneous.
I think that's where the super comes from.
So, sorry about the false marketing through Jim's hand.
Also, I thought, I never thought about it this time, but then he calls someone and he's like, oh God, okay, hold on. There's another Jason fucking Biggs, man. When he has the tape in his hand.
Yeah.
And he tries to throw it under the bed and then whips it back up. It is perfect.
It's the Jim Carreyest of scenes.
Yeah.
It is perfectly executed.
But then he calls like poison control, basically.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I can get paint thinner. It's like, you're going to rub paint thinner on. You're going to have cancer in like a year. That's like Chernobyling your entire genital area.
Yeah.
Wild. But don't worry.
But when you're young and virile, nothing can get in the way of a man and a glue.
Nothing can get between the love of man and his glue.
Sick.
So he goes to the hospital. He gets it all worked out. And then he's like, oh, Nadia's coming the end of the week.
Yeah.
And I need to be in commission. To,
free my hand and my junk.
And then basically that's the last big like comedy set piece. The next morning, Stifler's brother arrives, which upsets Finch because Finch had been waiting for Stifler's mother to arrive.
Yeah.
Another great little moment where
still no mom.
Where Finch is like, what the fuck is that?
Pointing at his brother and be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Because he's been, quote unquote, saving his reserves.
He's been tantric.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And so he's tantless
Yeah.
once his brother arrives.
And then Nadia arrives early, so Jim has to pretend he's dating Michelle.
Yeah.
And so as not to disappoint. It's all very silly. Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Well, I think that part of it.
I'm just coming to understand that this movie's a little goofy.
Yeah, silly goose movie.
And then the day of the party, his genital area is all cleared up.
Yeah.
And he has to fake break up with Michelle.
Yep.
So that he's free to hook up with Nadia.
Mm-hmm. And Michelle, what a sport the whole time. She's like, I'll help you practice.
But she likes him.
And then she falls.
She falls for him.
For Jason chub face.
She falls
Biggs.
too hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michelle.
Well, not quite yet.
But the night of the party, Jim realizes he is a band geek. He's one of the band nerds.
He also falls right back.
Yeah. And then he goes and this movie does a thing that I hate where he has to go perform in front of a bunch of people to win her love.
Well, like, how else do you prove it?
Yeah, true. By dumping Nadia, she's free to hook up with the Shermanator, which is golden.
Oh.
And then we also learn that Kevin hasn't really moved on from Vicky because she brings a date to the party. And then he admits that the exact science of the rule of 3, he slept with 0 women.
Yep.
Which is a tragedy in any man's life. I don't know. and then they go back and they have the greatest party ever. Mina Suvari surprises Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's happy. Yeah, and then that's almost the end of the movie, except that Janine shows up at the end to whisk Finch away.
Yeah.
To make love for 3 days.
Good old famous black actor Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, blackest actor in the American Pie series. Yeah.
And what a way to steal a scene, because she's in either film. She's there for maybe a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And what a force. She's great.
She's great.
It's the only reason I stayed till the end of this goddamn film is to see if she shows up.
Come on.
I shit you not, man.
It's great.
It was rough, but I did it for you, JC. LL Cool JC.
What about Jay Biggs?
He's all right. Fucking sweaty mess.
Bro,
sick.
This movie is awesome.
Finn,
that's it.
I got a top 5 for you.
I love it. Yeah, top 5 times this movie rocked. We just went over them. Done.
Top 5 things to glue your hand to instead of your penis. Okay.
What if I want to glue my hand? No, just kidding.
No. This one's for Jason Big. Number 5, glue your hand to your other hand and stop moving.
Yeah.
Just be.
That helps if you're in church on Sunday.
Yeah. Or in your bed.
Yeah.
Or among people or women. Glue your hand to your other hand. Number 4, glue your hand to boobies. Okay, consensually, ladies, gents, gays and days. Glue your hand to a single boob.
Please check with your partner that they're okay with you gluing your hand to their boobie.
Yeah, I mean, maybe directly. I don't know. Have a layer of clothing between it. But
I mean, this is the thing. Communication is important in a relationship, so check with your partner.
Cup a boob with glue in your hand. It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Science, look it up. Number 3, glue your hand to a book.
Do some reading.
I've been trying. Yeah. Have a good time. Read a bit. Don't stop reading till the book falls off your arm. At a point in time, the book becomes an extension of your arm and thereby an extension of your heart.
Yep.
So wear that heart on your sleeve and glue that sleeve to a book.
This is your copywriter's mind at work here.
What do you mean? This is all riff. Number 2, glue your hand to this episode of The Low Ceiling. Wait, this episode's over. Glue it to the next one.
Just glue it to your phone.
Glue it to your phone. Glue it. Oh, that's a good one. Wait, but people already do that.
Glue your preferred podcasting app. That's probably Spotify, but we don't care. We just listen on whatever you want. If you are a sociopath, go ahead and listen on other platforms. But if you listen on Spotify, you're a good person, and we
keep doing it.
Yeah.
Glue so you can keep listening to Pre 182 and John 182 on this episode of The Low Ceiling. And number 1, glue your hand to the ground. So look down.
Why?
Stay down and reflect upon the shame that you should feel for enjoying this film. Shame. Stay down.
None found. Am I right, ladies?
Rip your hand off.
Yeah.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Please don't glue it to your junk. Not good.
Oh, are you excited to do American Wedding?
I'm gonna kill you. Divorce office this instant.
I'm gonna make you watch American Wedding at some point. Yeah.
Christ.
It's not gonna be next, but I'll sneak it on you.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey babe, we're gonna watch Killers of the Flower Moon.
And I'll be like, no.
And it turns out
Reunion?
it's American Wedding 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Hot.
Yeah.
Everybody go watch The White Lotus. Shout out to JC.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, she's our Jesus Christ.
Yeah, White Lotus is very good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
This has been The Low Ceiling. I'm alone now. Literally left. She glued her hand to the outside of the building and left. It's just me now.
Get me out of
here. No, she's not here. She's gone. She's gone. Thank you for listening. I've been John. Pre is out the window. Goodbye. American Pie 2 is a great movie. It's a fantastic film. And since Bree turned off her mic, she cannot protest. Thank you for listening. American Pie 2 rules. Goodbye.